Welcome to BookBuzz Reviews and Summaries. Imagine being able to communicate with children in a way that not only helps them feel heard and understood, but also encourages their growth, confidence, and emotional well-being. Picture a world where teachers and parents alike hold the power to shape a child's future with words that inspire, guide, and nurture. In Teacher and Child, a book for parents and teachers, Haim Ginott introduces an invaluable approach to raising and teaching children that focuses on empathy, respect, and the subtle art of powerful communication. With decades of insight and experience, Ginott's work empowers both parents and teachers to become the kind of figures children need most, those who offer understanding, clear boundaries, and unconditional support. Through his unique perspective, we explore how the language we use can either build or break a child's sense of self-worth, their trust in adults, and their ability to thrive. This book isn't just a guide, it's a blueprint for creating nurturing environments, whether at home or in the classroom, where children learn to become confident, thoughtful, and emotionally intelligent individuals. Stay tuned as we dive into Ginott's timeless wisdom and uncover practical tools that will transform how you interact with the children in your life. Part 1. The Teacher's Role in Shaping a Child's World. Chapter 1. The Power of Words and the Impact of Communication. Imagine you're in a classroom, surrounded by curious young minds. As a teacher, every word you speak has the power to shape how your students feel about themselves, how they see the world, and how they engage with others. Haim begins this journey by emphasizing the extraordinary impact of language. He invites teachers to imagine their words as seeds planted in the hearts of children, each one capable of growing into something beautiful or, sadly, something harmful. In this chapter, Ginott warns teachers about the deep, lasting effects that their language has on students' emotional and psychological well-being. Words can inspire confidence, or they can crush a child's spirit. He stresses the importance of self-awareness in how we speak, encouraging teachers to be mindful of the messages they send, whether it's praise, criticism, or correction. For example, saying, "You did a great job," can fuel a child's self-esteem, but saying, "Why are you always so careless?" can create feelings of shame that may last long after the words are forgotten. Ginott presents a simple, yet profound rule. Speak to the child you want them to become. By treating students with respect, kindness, and understanding, teachers not only improve their academic experience, but also play a crucial role in helping them grow emotionally. This chapter encourages teachers to recognize that their words can be instruments of healing or harm, and to use them wisely. Chapter 2. The Child's Inner World. Understanding their emotions and needs. In the second chapter, Ginott shifts his focus to the child's inner world, the complex emotional and psychological landscape that is constantly evolving. He explains that children, like adults, have deep, sometimes unspoken needs, and their behaviors are often expressions of those needs. Ginott invites teachers to look beyond the surface of a child's actions and consider what might be causing them. Is a child acting out because they are seeking attention, or is it because they are feeling neglected or misunderstood? Is a student's quietness a sign of shyness, or could it be a reflection of a deeper fear? Ginott teaches us that children's emotional lives are just as important as their intellectual development, and understanding this is key to creating a nurturing learning environment. He encourages teachers to create a safe space where children can express themselves freely. Instead of shutting down or punishing negative behaviors, teachers should view them as opportunities to understand what a child is going through. For example, when a child expresses anger, instead of immediately reprimanding them, a teacher can gently ask, "I can see you're upset. Can you tell me what happened?" This approach opens a conversation that helps the teacher understand the child's emotional state and provides an opportunity for guidance and resolution. Ginott's message is clear: emotionally healthy children are better learners. And it all begins with teachers who take the time to understand and validate the emotional experiences of their students. Chapter 3. The teacher's responsibilities, shaping behavior and learning with care. By now, the reader understands that the role of a teacher goes far beyond simply delivering lessons. Ginott uses this chapter to outline the fundamental responsibilities of a teacher, not just to teach the subjects, but to shape behavior and create a learning environment that nurtures the child's emotional and social growth. Teachers, Ginott asserts, are not only responsible for what children learn academically, but for how they learn to interact with others, manage their emotions, and navigate challenges. The teacher's influence, he argues, is immense and far-reaching. For instance, when a child fails or struggles in class, how a teacher responds can either build resilience or reinforce a fear of failure. Instead of labeling a child as lazy or slow, a teacher can encourage a growth mindset by saying, "I know this is hard, but I believe you can do it with some more effort." This message not only helps the child feel more capable, but teaches them that failure is a part of the learning process, not something to fear. Ginott's approach here is compassionate discipline. He suggests that discipline should never come from a place of anger or frustration, but from a desire to teach and guide the child. For example, when a child misbehaves, instead of scolding or punishing, a teacher might say, "I don't like the way you're behaving, but I understand why you might feel upset. Let's talk about it." This statement acknowledges the child's emotions while clearly setting boundaries and expectations for behavior. Ginott highlights the importance of setting clear expectations and maintaining consistency, while also being flexible and empathetic when a child needs additional support. Teachers must be role models of emotional regulation themselves, showing how to handle frustrations, disappointments, and successes in ways that are calm, thoughtful, and constructive. Chapter 4. The Teacher as a Guide, Empowering the Child to Find Their Own Path. In the final chapter of Part 1, Ginott introduces a powerful concept: the teacher as a guide. A guide doesn't simply tell a child what to do. Instead, they help the child discover the answers for themselves. The goal, Ginott explains, is to empower children to think critically, act responsibly, and develop a strong sense of self. He uses the metaphor of a guide on a mountain expedition. A guide's job is to show the way, offer encouragement, and provide safety, but the child must walk the path themselves. Ginott encourages teachers to be more than directors of knowledge. They should be mentors and partners in the child's educational journey. One of the key takeaways from this chapter is the importance of promoting autonomy in children. Rather than creating an environment where students are solely dependent on the teacher for direction and validation, teachers should encourage independence by giving students choices and responsibility. For example, when working on a project, a teacher might offer several options for how to complete the assignment, allowing the child to choose the path that best fits their interests and strengths. Ginott stresses that self-reliance and confidence are best developed when children are allowed to make their own decisions, with guidance, of course. This chapter offers a vision of education that fosters independent, resilient thinkers, children who feel empowered to face the challenges of the world on their own terms. Part 2. The Art of Communication in Teaching, Building Relationships Through Dialogue. As we continue our journey through teacher and child, we delve deeper into the heart of Ginott's philosophy, the transformative power of respectful and empathetic communication between teachers and students. In this section, Ginott takes us beyond simply teaching facts or skills and into the territory of shaping young minds through thoughtful, intentional dialogue. His approach offers a refreshing and humanizing perspective on how to communicate with children in a way that fosters understanding, trust, and personal growth. Chapter 5. The Power of Words, Choosing Language with Care. Ginott opens this chapter by sharing an essential truth that many teachers may overlook in their busy classrooms. Words matter. The language we use with children can either build them up or tear them down. It can shape their sense of self-worth and influence how they approach learning and relationships. The challenge, then, is for teachers to become fully aware of the impact their words have, not only on the content of a lesson but on the emotional climate of the classroom. One of Ginott's most powerful ideas is that praise should be specific. Instead of vague compliments like, "great job," he suggests teachers offer more focused recognition, such as, "I noticed you worked really hard on that project, and your attention to detail made a difference." This approach helps students understand the exact behaviors that are being recognized, which in turn fosters their growth. The author also emphasizes the importance of speaking with empathy. Teachers often find themselves frustrated with students who are acting out, but Ginott suggests that the real solution is not in reprimands or anger, but in offering empathy and understanding. Instead of saying, "Why are you acting this way?" he proposes teachers respond with, "It seems like you're feeling frustrated.
Can we talk about it?"
This small shift in language acknowledges the child's feelings and opens the door to deeper understanding and connection. Chapter 6: The Role of Respect in Communication, a Two-Way Street. Respect, Ginott argues, is at the core of all effective teaching. But respect doesn't just flow from the teacher to the student, it must go both ways. In this chapter, Ginott discusses how teachers can model respect and how this influences their relationships with children. He suggests that children learn best when they feel that their voices are heard, that their opinions matter, and that they are treated as equals, not just recipients of information. One vivid example that Ginott offers involves how teachers respond to students' questions. Instead of dismissing questions as irrelevant or silly, Ginott encourages teachers to listen attentively, offering answers that respect the child's curiosity. He recounts a teacher who, when asked about why the sky is blue, could have dismissed the question as trivial. Instead, she took the time to explain in a way that made the child feel valued. This not only answered the child's query, but also encouraged further exploration and fostered a sense of wonder. The chapter emphasizes that mutual respect transforms the teacher-student relationship from one of authority and control to one of partnership and cooperation. Teachers who foster an environment of respect create a classroom where children feel safe to express themselves, make mistakes, and grow into their fullest potential. Chapter 7: Handling Discipline with Compassion, Redirecting, Not Punishing. Ginott's approach to discipline is another standout feature of his philosophy. Instead of focusing on punishment for misbehavior, Ginott encourages teachers to think about how they can redirect behavior in a way that helps the child understand the consequences of their actions and encourages self-discipline. The chapter is filled with stories of teachers who successfully applied these principles, redirecting negative behavior by addressing the emotions behind it. For example, when a child is acting out, rather than immediately issuing a consequence, Ginott suggests a teacher pause to explore why the behavior is happening. Is the child frustrated, bored, or seeking attention? Understanding the emotional root of the behavior enables the teacher to respond in a way that addresses the need behind the action. One technique Ginott champions is the use of consequences rather than punishment. Consequences, unlike punishment, are tied directly to the child's actions. For instance, if a student is being disruptive during class, the teacher might say, "I can't allow you to disrupt the class. When you're ready to join us, we'll be here." This statement redirects the child's focus back to the appropriate behavior without attacking their character. What stands out in Ginott's approach is his compassionate discipline, which focuses on guiding students towards better choices, not out of fear, but from a place of mutual understanding and respect. The goal is to help children learn how their behavior impacts others and to give them the tools to correct themselves in the future. Chapter 8: The Importance of Empathy in Teaching, the Key to Connection. In this chapter, Ginott introduces the idea that empathy is the foundational tool for effective teaching. It is through empathy that teachers are able to truly understand their students, both as learners and as individuals with their own unique challenges and perspectives. Ginott tells the story of a teacher who, upon seeing a student struggle with a difficult math problem, didn't just offer the solution. Instead, she sat with the student, acknowledging how frustrating the task must be and giving them time to process the material at their own pace. This empathetic approach not only helped the student feel seen and understood, but also opened up the space for learning to happen more effectively. Empathy, Ginott writes, requires presence. Teachers must listen not just to the words, but to the emotions behind them. When students feel that their teachers truly care about their well-being, it cultivates trust. Trust is the bridge that allows children to feel safe enough to take risks, make mistakes, and explore new ideas without fear of judgment. The chapter stresses that empathy is not about fixing problems. It's about being present with a child, acknowledging their feelings, and offering a safe space for them to process and navigate those emotions. Teachers who embrace empathy in their teaching find that their students are more willing to engage, ask questions, and persevere in the face of challenges. Chapter 9. Encouraging Independence, Letting Children Learn from Their Mistakes. As this section draws to a close, Ginott focuses on the importance of fostering independence in students. He explains that part of the teacher's job is to prepare children to navigate the world on their own, to solve problems, and to handle mistakes with grace. In this way, teachers can move beyond the traditional role of just delivering knowledge and into the more empowering role of helping students become lifelong learners. Ginott writes that failure should be framed as part of the learning process. Children should never feel ashamed of making mistakes. Instead, mistakes should be seen as opportunities for growth and understanding. Ginott shares the story of a student who struggled with reading, making numerous errors in front of the class. The teacher didn't chastise the student. Instead, she gently corrected them, encouraging the student to see each mistake as a step toward improvement. What Ginott emphasizes here is that true learning happens when children are allowed to discover and make mistakes independently. Teachers who can guide students through their failures without rescuing them create resilient, confident learners. By allowing children to face the consequences of their actions and learn from them, teachers equip them with the skills they need to succeed in life beyond the classroom. Part 3. The Heart of Teaching, Building Connections and Understanding. In the final part of Teacher and Child, a book for parents and teachers by Haim Ginott, the author takes a deep dive into the emotional and psychological aspects of teaching, emphasizing the importance of relationships between teachers, students, and parents. Here, Ginott highlights how communication, empathy, and understanding can transform not only the classroom experience, but also the development of children as individuals. He presents teaching as an art that involves connecting with the heart and mind of each child, rather than simply instructing them on academic subjects. The teacher as a model of behavior. Ginott begins by stressing the profound influence teachers have on their students, not just through what they teach, but through how they behave. Children are highly observant and often model their behavior based on what they see. Teachers, therefore, have the responsibility of setting a positive example, not only in their interactions with students, but in their overall conduct. For Ginott, this is more than just a call for professionalism. It's a deeper invitation for teachers to embody the values and attitudes they wish to instill in their students. Whether it's showing patience, kindness, or respect, these traits must first be visible in the teacher's own actions. Children, he argues, learn more from how teachers manage their own emotions and respond to challenges than from any textbook lesson. By consistently showing children how to handle their feelings, teachers offer the most powerful form of instruction: the importance of listening. A central theme in this part of the book is the importance of active listening. Ginott insists that the act of listening to a child is one of the most profound ways a teacher can connect with them. He explains that listening is not just about hearing words, but about understanding emotions and the underlying needs behind those words. Ginott goes into detail about how teachers can use empathetic listening to validate a child's feelings, creating a safe space where students feel seen and understood. He compares the emotional life of a child to an iceberg. What is visible on the surface is only a small part of what is truly going on beneath. By listening attentively and with empathy, teachers can help children express and manage these emotions, creating an environment where students can thrive academically and personally. He also addresses the importance of parents in this process. He encourages teachers to communicate regularly with parents, not just to discuss academic progress, but to share insights into their child's emotional development. By keeping parents informed, Ginott believes that the home and school environments can work together to support a child's growth and well-being. The power of positive communication. Ginott's teachings on communication are perhaps the most transformative part of the book. He emphasizes that the way adults speak to children can either build or break a child's confidence. He offers numerous examples of how language, tone, and delivery can change the impact of a message. Negative or accusatory language can shut down communication and foster resentment, whereas positive, respectful language can empower children to learn, grow, and make positive choices. One of the most striking ideas Ginott presents is the concept of I message versus you message. An I message focuses on the feelings and needs of the speaker, without placing blame on the child. For example, instead of saying, "You are always interrupting," the teacher might say, "I feel frustrated when I can't finish my thoughts." This shift in communication helps children understand the emotional impact of their actions without feeling attacked, which fosters a more constructive and open dialogue. Throughout the section, Ginott stresses the idea that teachers are not authoritarian figures but partners in a child's learning process. When teachers speak to children in a way that conveys mutual respect, it creates an atmosphere of collaboration rather than conflict. This approach allows children to feel safe enough to take risks in their learning, ask questions, and explore new ideas. Discipline as guidance, not punishment. Ginott's approach to discipline is another area where he challenges traditional educational models. He believes that discipline should not be about punishment, but about teaching. He distinguishes between discipline and control, explaining that teachers should focus on guiding children to understand the consequences of their actions, rather than simply enforcing rules through fear or power. He introduces the concept of logical consequences, where children learn from the outcomes of their behavior in a way that is connected to the action. For example, if a child refuses to do their homework, the logical consequence might be that they miss out on recess time to finish the assignment. This approach helps children understand that their choices have real-world implications, and it encourages them to take responsibility for their actions. Ginott also emphasizes the importance of consistency. A teacher's response to misbehavior should be consistent and predictable, so that children know what to expect and can trust that the teacher is fair. He stresses that discipline should always be done with compassion and understanding, never with anger or frustration. The goal of discipline, Ginott believes, is to help children develop self-control and internal motivation, not to instill fear. The role of parents in supporting teachers and children. In the final chapters of Part 3, Ginott turns his attention to the role of parents in the educational process. He encourages teachers to work closely with parents, but he also reminds them that the responsibility for a child's education does not rest solely on the teacher's shoulders. Parents, too, must take an active role in supporting their child's development both in and out of the classroom. Ginott offers practical advice for teachers on how to communicate effectively with parents, including the importance of establishing trust and being open to feedback. He advocates for regular, positive communication, not just when problems arise, so that parents feel involved in their child's progress and can provide support at home. He also underscores the importance of teachers being sensitive to the challenges parents face, recognizing that families come from diverse backgrounds and situations. At the same time, Ginott stresses that parents should never undermine the teacher's authority. Children need to understand that their parents and teachers are working together to support their well-being and education. If a child senses conflict between the two, it can create confusion and insecurity. Teachers and parents should present a unified front, even if they have differing opinions, in order to provide a stable and consistent environment for the child. The lasting impact of understanding and compassion. Ginott concludes this final section of the book by reflecting on the long-term impact that understanding and compassion can have on both children and teachers. He reminds teachers that their work is not just about imparting knowledge, but about shaping lives. The relationships they build with their students, relationships rooted in trust, empathy, and respect, will stay with the children long after they leave the classroom. Teachers, he concludes, are in a unique position to help children develop not just academic skills, but also emotional intelligence, resilience, and a sense of self-worth. Through their words and actions, teachers can inspire children to believe in themselves, make positive choices, and approach the world with curiosity and compassion. Ginott leaves readers with a hopeful and inspiring message. Teaching is not a job, but a calling to nurture, guide, and empower the next generation. By focusing on the emotional and relational aspects of teaching, educators can create an environment where children not only learn, but also grow into capable, confident, and caring individuals. This concluding part of Ginott's work solidifies his vision of teaching as an emotionally intelligent and compassionate practice. It serves as a powerful reminder that at the heart of every great educator is a deep commitment to the well-being of their students and a belief in the potential of each child. By fostering open communication, respect, and empathy, teachers and parents can work together to guide children toward becoming the best versions of themselves. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new video updates. Happy learning!